Hi and welcome to our PE bridging lesson 2. On our Google site, I put our first bridging lesson, and this is just a little snippet of our second bridging lesson that we would do if you were in college. So I'm Julia Atkinson-Tate, I'm course leader for the PE A-level. And the second lesson that we would look at is to do with sport and technology. So how's technology changed sport? Do you think it's improved sport? Or do you think that there are any negatives? So have a little think about the impact of technology, not only for the performers in your sport, but think about the officials, think about the audience, and even think about coaching. Can you go a little bit wider than your own sport and think about a couple of other sports where there's been lots of examples of technology changing that sport? So I want you to just have a little look at the 1960s. The 1960s pole vault.
This is Tyler. Tyler, with Grammarly's help, is writing an email to his boss, Anita.
Okay, so what did you think about in terms of, what did you see in terms of the heights? That was the 1920s, sorry, I was going to show you the 1960s, which I'm just going to show you now, because I want you to have a look at the landing area. So even from the 1920s to the 1960s, you could see things had changed in terms of even just the crowd and the stadium and the facilities. So what did you think about the landing area? What kind of changes have been made? Would you have liked to have been a pole vaulter in those early times? What about the heights? What about the kit that the performers were wearing? Think about all of those kind of changes. Think about the training that they would have done. And all of that is linked with technology. Let's have a look at the women's. So we're looking at 2012.
4.65. But that would be as high as she got, and she would finish in 4th place. Isinbayeva was one of 3 jumpers to clear 4.7 meters, as the medalists were decided, but who got which color was still up in the air. Yaroslav's silver of Cuba looked as strong as anyone, making it safely over 4.75 meters on her second attempt. And the Beijing silver medalist Jennifer Suhr of the USA did likewise.
So when you were comparing, what kind of changes did you see had actually happened? What changes did we see with the equipment? What changes did we see with the facilities, the performers, everything around? So all of that is to do with technology, and that's one of the new big topic areas in A-level PE that probably builds from some of the work that you've done maybe in a BTEC or in a GCSE PE lesson that you've done before. And what about the changes in terms of the Paralympic performance? So as an A-level question, you might be asked to analyse some figures that show the Paralympic numbers of performers actually changing, or the number of events. And you might be asked to analyse that, or you might be asked to evaluate that and have to look at how things have changed and actually why they've changed, and what's changed for the better, and do things still need to change. So again, as well as technology, we also look at Paralympians, and we look at groups of performers who didn't have as many numbers participating in those earlier years, and we look at why, and we look at the changes. Again, technology that you might have. How could a smart wearable fitness sport device help performance monitoring? What type of things, if you're lucky enough to have something like that, what would you use it for? Or if you would like one of those, what would you like to use it for? How would it help your training? We look at sport analytics as well in terms of technology. So if you were watching this netball game, just a little tiny clip, what sort of data would coaches want to collect, would players want to collect from this netball game? So just some ideas, all right, in terms of what you might actually study in our A-level PE. So lots of things can be built on, from the BTEC Sport, from the GCSE PE, and some of you might not have done either of those. That's absolutely fine. Some of you might come just with your GCSE Science. So lots of topics that you could build on. So just 3, for example, that I picked from a list: role of haemoglobin, HIIT training, goal setting. These are just 3, all right, that we build on in A-level, and we look at explaining and analysing and evaluating, all of those exam words that build us into good A-level students. A good summer project that you might like to do, all right, is something that we did a small Bridging the Gap course with somebody called Ross Hewitt, who is a GCSE examiner. And again, you can look for him on Twitter. He's got lots of things going on to do with Bridging the Gap on his Twitter account, which is @HowittPE. And that's worth a look at. But a good summer project would be to watch the English Game on Netflix and look at the history of football, because that's one of the things that we look at, the historical development from the early 19th century. So just a little glimpse into one of the lessons that we would have done had we met you at Bridging. And I hope that you've enjoyed that. And any questions, then through the Bridging week, we have a questions and answer session. You can always email me, or you can email college and they will pass an email on to myself to answer any questions that you might have.